Hey, what's up, guys? Sean here with BlueRidgeSilverhound. Thank you for tuning in for the final edition of the Monday Market Report. This time for the week ending November 27, 2022. So, by the time you're watching this video, it is indeed the last day of the month. It's November 30th. Great collections where normally we pull a lot of the information regarding these post 1900 graded coins. Well, they had a little bit of a server issue going into the conclusion of last week's sale, Sunday. So what Great Collections ended up doing was they postponed it 48 hours. So essentially, all of the listings that you see here all ended Tuesday night, which was the 29th. So now you're getting this video here on the last day of the month. Better late than never, I would say. And I would say going into the final day of the month, where all of these coins had sold, we've seen a little bit more emphasis on US type, more so than registry set coins. Now, of course, Great Collections, they have this pattern where, every 3 weeks, they're going to not load up their auctions with some of the big premier coins that we normally see. As kind of a break, and generally we see that before big shows as well, from a lot of the big auction companies who are not participating in those particular shows. So, aside from the normal US type stuff, we have a couple registry set pieces that we're going to talk about as well and see where the market is there and why people are paying through the nose to own some of the coins. I guess you guys caught wind of the thumbnail. Yeah, Lincoln set enthusiasts and registry set folks are finally now targeting shield sets. And as you guys know, this is the newest coin out there. It's been out since 2010. It's a very, very ultra-modern design and piece. Whatever you want to say about it, it is part of the Lincoln Cent series. So it was only a matter of time where, eventually the registry set, Lincoln Cent folks would be targeting this, and we saw one of the chips fall today in a pretty big way. I didn't think it would sell for this kind of money, but it just goes to show you how tough it is to score the highest grade on some of these newer shield sets with just the myriad of issues coming away from them, from just really crappy strikes on some of them, in addition to some of the water spots from their rinsing agents have all played a huge role in this. So we're going to, again, look at greatcollections.com for all of the information here. On every single coin's graded, of course. That's kind of what makes up the report. And I hope you guys enjoy it. So happy last day of the month. And let's go ahead and finish off the holiday coin season strong into the month of December. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Let's see what we have here this week. Starting out again with that Lincoln Shield set. This is a 2018D type. And as you can see, even says first strike on the label. So this probably came either out of a mid set or some other supplemental set that was released earlier in the year. Generally, when these coins are distributed into circulation, that time period is normally around the first week of February. How do I know? I talk about it every single year. Folks who come away with a full box of the newest coin for that year can turn around and flip those $25 bank boxes for sometimes $400 to $500. So it's kind of a big deal. You guys see why people do it is that they go through the rolls looking for coins like this. So this is a PCGS MidState 69 red. It says shield right on the label. Yeah, I mean, there's only one place that this is going to go towards, and that is a registry set. So, kicking it off here, this one ended up selling for $2,418.75. These Lincoln Cent people are maniacs for spending this kind of money. But, far be it for me to kind of tell someone how they should spend their money, especially when they're trying to pad the point system for keeping up just a really high-end Lincoln Cent registry. The next one that we have here in comparison is a much better looking coin. Now, this is a 2005 Lincoln Memorial Cent, grades out PCGS SP70 red. It says satin finish. So where exactly do you find these? Well, I've talked about this in a separate video a good while back. It's probably been a year to this point. But these were the mint sets. During the mid-2000s, the U.S. Mint had produced some really nice high-quality satin strike coins that you could only find in mint sets. So this is, of course, a 70. It's the perfect grade. You guessed it. It's going to go into a registry set all day long. And because of the high-quality nature of these coins, they're not worth nearly as much as regular business strikes. So this one ended up selling for $1,771.88. The next one that we have here, you know, compared to a previous coin, this thing is like nothing. But it is on here. It's a 1971S Proof Lincoln Memorial. All right, so it can only be found in a proof set. Always a big part of registry sets. This one is a Proof 69 red. Deep cameo by PCGS, so it's got some pretty nice frosting offset with the nice dark fields on there, but you could also see a few of those little water spots too. Apparently, it didn't do much to the grade because it still earned a pretty nice lofty 69, 1 point away from 70. I'm willing to bet that if a few of those little spots weren't there, it'd be a perfect grade, right? You know, we could only hope, and maybe someday we'll see that. So this one right here, hammered at $2,936.25. Another massive, really bonkers kind of sale coming from the ultra-modern Lincoln Cents. All right, so we're going to step it back 40 years. All right, there's a pretty tremendous gap in there. We didn't see anything from 31, like you see on this one, all the way up to 1971. So the 31S is what we call a semi-key. Mintages are under 1 million, so there's not a ton of them out there. However, at the time, folks did realize that this was a low production year. So what happened? Most folks ended up hoarding these coins and saved them. That's why a lot of them can be found in MidState red. So this one right here is a MidState 66 red by PCGS. It's not the finest grade, but consider it like maybe a tier or two down from the top grade. Good looking coin. I'm not a particular fan of the little stain spot here at the 9 o'clock position on the reverse. Not really sure what that is, but that's worth noting. This one sold for $2,109.38 here yesterday. And I believe this is the last penny denomination coin on the list. We have a 1915D. This is just a really wholesome type coin. It would slot in great to a nice high-end non-registry set Lincoln Cent collection. This one right here is a PCGS MidState 66. RB stands for red brown, so it's not a full red. It is CAC certified as well, so it's got that green bean right on the label. Very gorgeous looking coin. You know, I'm a particular fan of something that has a little bit of oxidation to it. You know, with full red coins, you kind of have to pick out the perfect example, because that full red planchet on some of those higher end pieces, you can really see the imperfections very, very clearly. Whereas on a red brown, it's really negligible at that point. You know, if it has a nick, so what? The color just looks really good on these coins. So this particular one right here sold for $1,707.78. One of my favorites for the week. All right, now we're on to nickels. So there were a couple of what I call, you know, kind of like the funny period of coinage, the modern coinage age, and that's the early 80s. Jefferson nickels left a little bit to be desired. In 83, the U.S. Mint did not release a mint set. So finding 83 anything in decent shape is a little bit of a challenge. Full rolls of any of the denominations of coins will set you back a nice sum of cash. But let's talk a little bit about these registry set examples. This one right here is 1984P. Graded PCGS MidState 67 FS, which stands for full steps. The coin looks pretty well struck. I'm going to reserve my right to, decide whether or not this really is an FS coin. The bottom set of the stairs looks a little soft toward the right side there, but it could be something that's a little bit more clear-cut in hand. This one right here is sold for $1,350. Not the most highest-end example I've seen of this date, but this one, can be, I guess, a place marker for someone that needs this date in full steps. And the same goes for this one as well. This is a 1983D. Again, there was no mid set to pull any of these higher graded examples out of. So you had to resort to trying to find BU rolls or maybe an old mint bag. Good luck with that, by the way. So this one here is a PCGS MidState 66 with full steps. Again, the pictures don't do it justice. I firmly believe that probably this looks a little bit better in hand to support the grade and that strike designation. This one right here ended up selling for $1,436.62. So again, we're going to jump a good 50 years back from those 1980s Jeffersons. Nothing really to speak of in that time period, but the Buffalo Nickels are quite nice this week. Here's a 1935S, a very, very nice example, one in which that if you were going to cherry pick out of dealer stock, you could, especially in mid-state condition. It might set you back $100 to $200 as a raw coin, but the prospects can be pretty ridiculous. Here's a mid-state 67. This one's graded by NGC, first NGC coin on the block. And the coin is overall very well struck with lots of luster. This one sold for $1,589.62. This series is like one of my favorite to cherry pick, not only for high-graded specimens, but also just the wide array of various varieties, from two feathers to double the dies to repunch mint marks. If you guys are looking to jump into a series with a lot going for it, Buffalo Nickels is certainly that one. And in addition, it's one of the hottest type coins on the planet to date. Here's also a 34D, although this is a much tougher date compared to the 35S. It's just, there weren't as many very nice examples in 34 that we could see in the marketplace. And furthermore, this is kind of like the beginning of that date range going back a few years where the quality begins to take a little bit of a dive. So this 34D isn't as lustrous, nor is it as well struck as the previous coin. However, this one is a MidState 66. PCGS is what the signed this one here. This coin sold for $1,462.50. Again, a great point lower, but nearly the same price as the 35S. Just kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of how tough this date is. Well, this is pretty, and this is the first time that I have talked about a 1913 Type 1 Buffalo proof coin here right on the channel. This one is just, it's a marvel to look at. I don't know where it was stored, but it's got a fully involved toning, very, very beautiful, very light pastel-y, light golds and yellows with some rose color in there. This is an incredibly beautiful looking coin. NGC graded this one as a proof 67. The coins, proof examples of these, a very scant mintage, very, very small amount. So finding one at all is a little bit of a challenge, and it will cost you a lot of money to own one of these. Very popular date, by the way. This one sold for $4,640.62. I don't see these selling for under $2,000, $2,500. They're just very expensive. 2,000, 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 $2,500. They're Now we're on to dimes. No Roosevelt dimes this week, but we have a pretty good selection of Mercuries. I would say this is probably the strongest, list of coin this week on the Monday Market Report. Starting out with a Micro S 1945. This one grades out PCGS MidState 67 with full split bands, and this one features some toning on it as well. A little bit on the darker side, but it's nothing that's like crazy, incredibly terminal or too dark. It's kind of got some purples in there, which kind of cuts down on the darkness of it. But good looking coin on the final date variety of that mid-mark, which is very tiny, by the way. If you haven't seen a Micro S, the mid-mark is minute on these. This one right here ended up selling to the tune of $2,369.25. Here's a 45D, just a basic date, very, very high mintage, and very, very available out there, raw and in MidState condition. So you could certainly try and cherry pick one of these. Here's a NGC MidState 68 with full bands. This strike is incredible on this coin. The reverse is just really, really sharp and strong. It's got kind of a muted bluish kind of toning to it, but overall it's pretty white. This one right here ended up selling for $3,549.38. A really nice sale. Here is one of the main keys of the series, 1921, and this one is a very high graded example, MidState 66 with full bands. Full bands are very tough to find on in 1921, but a really low ball graded example to give you an idea of the key kind of factor to this. Like VG examples tend to sell for about $100 to $150. They're not cheap by any means. This one right here sold for $6,300. Again, not the highest graded example I've seen of a 21 or a 21D, but it is worth noting that this coin is a huge trophy in any collection. And no, this is not a 16D, but how about a 16S? Just as relevant, these earlier teens examples of Mercury dimes with full bands are always highly coveted. We have a MidState 67 here with FB. It's funny that they typed in Mercury on the label. That doesn't happen too often. But nonetheless, just a good, really pleasing example of this one. Very high grade. This one here sold for $5,175. Again, not the most highest graded premier example I've seen, but this one is just a beauty. So we have 4 quarters, and that's it for this week. So thank you guys again for tuning in. How about a 35S? This one is a PCGS MidState 67 Plus, CAC certed as well. This is going to go straight into a registry set. It's a very, very, very nice grade with a little bit of luster. And actually a lot of luster, a little bit of toning, which gives it that original skin that everybody looks for. This one right here is sold for $2,306.25. Just a really awesome looking early Washington. And Standing Liberties are all quite nice again this week. How about 1930S, the final date of the SLQ series? Crazy as it seems, the bluish toning is pretty wild on this one. It's something that I'm kind of 50-50 split on. The coin can have toning or it can't. It's just, I see the beauty in both. This one is an NGC MidState 65 Plus with full head. So it's got that wonderful strike that you try and want to look for in the Standing Liberty Quarter Series. This one right here sold for $1,048.11. It's my understanding that 1930P and S Standing Liberty Quarters aren't particularly difficult to find with the full head designation. You just got to make sure it's mid-state, and you should be good to go. Here's one of the more tougher dates of the series. Here's a 1926S example. This is a PCGS MidState 64. It's also got the CAC green bean on there. This is kind of like more of your, like, the original skin or toning has developed over the course of maybe all its life. Depending on where it was stored at, to some people, you're going to look at this and say, wow, that's not MidState at all. I mean, I don't see luster. And you're not really going to, not unless you have the coin in hand where you could kind of twirl the cartwheel on there. But this coin is one of the toughest, and good luck finding one with full head. This one right here sold for $1,931.24. 64 is just one of those grades that's not like super spectacular for a high-end collection, but if you wanted an impactful type piece that's like pleasing to look at, this is the one right here. And of course, we're going to end it off on probably the biggest key, short of the 1916, of course. How about 23S? This one is just a really tough date. I've owned a few of these, more in the XF40 range, so... and I'm rolling my eyes because I look at this and it's like, oh, it's just a 63 compared to any other date. It's like just a pedestrian MidState grade. However, the beauty is in its just the date. You combine that with the survivability rate of these coins, which during its time, nobody really saved these. They were all being used and spent and circulating. So to find one that even is in this condition is a huge treat. So this one ended up selling for $3,600. If you do come across even a just a worn down 23S in like bulk silver, keep in mind it's worth a heck of a lot more than 25 cents. Even those low ball ones you can move for 40, 50 bucks, if not higher. But that's going to go ahead and do it for the last final Monday market report for the month of November. Thank you guys for tuning in again. Appreciate all the love and support and the views. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and follow me. I'm also on TikTok as well. If you're looking for like a solution for shorter videos, I am also on there too. If you guys have any questions, you want to show me some coins, go ahead and send us an email, info@livecoinqa.com. That is our central email to receive inquiries and things like that. We really don't talk about pricing, but it's more of, hey, I have this. What do I have? Type of deal. So if you're interested, send them over. Let's take a look at them. But aside from all that, you guys are wonderful. Thank you again. You guys have a wonderful day and happy holidays. We are in it.